I want to start by at least giving you a flavor of what Strathmore Agri-food Innovation Center is. We like calling ourselves SAFIC. So we are a center. We started the work on agriculture in the business school in 2014. So we are around 10 years in that space. And then we have grown with academic programs. We started a couple of academic programs, and then we are happy with the academic programs. So after the academic program now, we have decided now we get more closer into research. And then later we have also started even getting more into interventions into the market. Yeah? So we have 4 pillars: data and insight, business advisory, market intelligence, and of course research and innovations. So data and insight, we have a community of practice that we are starting, and most of you will be inviting you to join the community of practice on data. And the community of practice is more on agri-markets for investments and growth, because we don't just want to have data. Data only makes sense once it has been analyzed and it has some insights which you interpret them into market intelligence. Today we want to focus more into the business advisory pillar, and we have focused our business focus on pastoralism as a business. You know, most people think pastoralism is just a way of life and there's no money to make. You'll be surprised how much money you can make from pastoralism. So we started this journey almost now going to 3 years now since we started working in pastoralism with our colleagues from Boston Consulting Groups. And we started with a journey of making sense of pastoralism, you know, doing a bit of landscape in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Burkina Faso. And then also we continued the journey in Kenya in 2022, trying to understand pastoralism. Then after that, we decided to design programs. And the programs, we call them pathfinders. We believed we had to know the path of unlocking pastoralism and the poverty in pastoral regions. So then that's how the issue of pastoral market development came in. And we are trying in different countries. Currently, we are having, from 2023, we are having 2 pilots, one in Ethiopia, led by an off-taker and also a processor, an abattoir. So the only way you can organize meat business is from the processing side. That's our hypothesis, and we are testing it. And then in Kenya, most of the processors are happy with the business they are doing now. A truck coming next to their door with the goats, and they don't care where the goats have come from. So then we were not able to convince them that they should also do backward integration and know where the goats are coming from. But fortunately, we managed to realize that also the market in Kenya is so different. We have off-takers who are doing different things in the different markets. So what we did then is to work around off-takers, and then as a business school, we do the coordination of these off-takers and support them to do backward integrations, which is the effort going on. And one of the off-takers doing that is with us here. So she'll share how what the experience is and what it means as a business to go and sort out their production system, because you're not getting the quality and the quantity you need from the export market. Our goal is, all these are pilots. We are not fan of pilots. We are fan of building businesses as a business school. But what we thought is, let it be a learning exercise. And then once we have good evidence that pastoral markets can work, and there's a tested more business model that can sort out the pastoral systems, then we can present to financiers who always shy away from financing the livestock sector. We can talk with funders on a different way of looking at it. So in the long run, we aim to create a scaling hub of these kind of markets. That's the dream. At the same time, when we are designing these programs, we thought through, we also need to sort out the policy, the data, and that's where now AU IBA comes in, and we're happy Prof. Ahmed here from AU IBA is presenting the work that they're doing with a platform which helps to think through how do you engage the governments to also invest more into the pastoral regions. So that's so let's get key insights from some of the studies that we have been conducting, and also some of the insight from the service. Just to give you a flavor of the pastoral market role and its critical role in economic development. Just in Kenya, 80% of our national herds come from the pastoral regions. Then They contribute around 36% of the domestic meat that we take, and majority of the export, particularly the small ruminants. So we can say that Dennis has told us the sector is around 13 billion worth in Africa. In Kenya is around $1 billion. And that was back in 2019. Of course, we know a lot of animals were lost due to the drought, but the sector is on upward growth now. They contribute around 13% of the GDP. Of course, people have been questioning how this number is alive, the contribution of livestock in the GDP contribution, but we are trying now with more data coming up, especially in the center. We are hoping to revamp and improve the model of estimating the livestock contribution into the sector. We had the worst drought, and we had 5 failed rainy seasons before last year, okay, before the El Nino came. So 5 failed rainy seasons meant that rangeland pasture were depleted, there was no availability of water, and animal died, livestock. And the worst in terms of the markets, because that's the conversation we want to focus more today, it led more into distress sales. So we had oversupply of low quality animals, basically emaciated animals. I talked with one trader, he was telling me they're just selling us bones. And the animal prices went down from around 30,000 Kenya shillings to 500. Can you imagine selling your cow at 500 shillings? That was 98% loss of value. 98% because of the drought. And worst was actually the cost of transport was higher than the value of the animal you're transporting. It went to that level, you know. So then we start asking, and then this also led now to more conflicts, because now pastoralists had to go and graze in farmers' fields, and banditry, castle nursery, every security issues in the pastoral regions was worsened because of this drought. So we started thinking through now, if that's the situation, how does the value chains look like in pastoral markets? Yeah? Don't worry, busy slides here, I just pass a few points here. So we have so many private input providers, but rarely pastoralists access inputs in those regions. Of course, there are a couple of reasons. One of it is that the places they come from are so remote. Yeah, the roads are poor, but also the providers are also too small and fragmented, so they cannot be able to access those kind of markets. We also find that feed growers or feed producers prefer to sell to the dairy farmers for milk production rather than the livestock productions. So then we thought the implication for such kind of a challenge is that for some of us who are consistently designing projects, let's have, if you're thinking of a solution for pastoral markets, let's also develop the feed value chain. And the feed value chains, we think of thinking of the producers in areas that, even just in those pastoral markets, just getting the right variety that can grow with only the 2 rainy seasons that we get in pastoral regions, and some countries in Africa only 1 rainy season. You can still produce a good forage and you can give to the animals. Then the other challenge we find in pastoral markets is that the value chains are long and fragmented. So that means there's very minimum value capture by pastoralists. Just to give you, pastoralists usually get around 30% of the value of the animal. And what the animal has just done is to exchange hands. No value has been added by anyone who has gotten the 70% value. They've just been exchanging hands. So then if we want pastoralists to get more value, then we need traders to reduce that long value chain. Okay? And then that's not easy. Be aware that any system that's working, we have traders who have formed cartels in those markets, and they're going to fight it back. Yeah? But we really need to think hard on how we sort out and reduce the number of times an animal changes hands before it becomes meat. And then another interesting thing is that we find that most of the processors are quite small, or they're not that mature to think through the entire value chain. Okay? Somehow we found some Ethiopian off-takers were more mature than the Kenyan ones in some of the studies we did. Then another one, the neighboring environment. So we realized that government, there are good policies, especially developed by the AU on pastoralism. But when we did the policy landscape, we realized that most of them are not implemented in those countries. They're there, policies are there. It's the challenges for implementation. Yeah? But also, interesting also is livestock trade being unregulated, you know. And of course, it has its own challenges. There's no proper traceability systems for livestock in these markets. Yeah? So we need the livestock sector policies well sorted out. So the market structure is very long. So from the pastoralist to the final buyer. So it's good to give you a flavor of how that works. So we have the pastoralist with the animal and a trader here. Then somebody comes in between called a broker. So the only information this broker has is that he knows the small trader and the pastoralist, but the two of them don't know the price that they're going to sell the animal. He doesn't know the price he's going to sell the animal. And the other one doesn't know the price the animal was bought. And that's how they make their value. So we find that that's, on one hand, the broker is important, is supportive, he's creating the market. Okay? But on the other hand, they exploit the pastoralist or the producer because they are just creating information asymmetry and benefiting from that. Okay? So if we can reduce the number of brokers, and you can see like there are two of them, there's a small, again the small trader, when they take their animals to the market, they not sell to the large trader from the large cities. Like in Kenya, they go to the markets in the pastoral market. In every pastoral area, there's a market once a week. So the small trader, again, knows the broker whom he sells to, and then that broker sells to the large trader. Again, another information asymmetry creations there. So, and the problem with the information asymmetry they create is that they tell false information about the prices. And then they take advantage of, so they buy the animals in the morning, and then they sell the animals to the other traders in the afternoon, and especially when the traders who had come with the animals, they're becoming desperate. So the net effect is that we pay very high for meat in African cities and in hotels, and also the pastoralists with the producer get a very low price. So if we can have interventions that tries to reduce the number of traders, you can get the pastoralists earning more, and also we pay less for the meat in the urban areas. Okay. So what did you do then? What we did in the programs that we have been working on, the pastoral market development programs, is to think through what's the easiest way you can sort out an industry that is dysfunctional and with a lot of politics and challenges, production challenges. So we sort out the business part, first of all. So we get an off-taker who has the market. But the off-taker will have an interest in supporting the producer because he's not getting the quantity and the quality at the right time. So with that now challenge, they will be interested to work backward and support these traders or these producers. Because once we have been able to increase the productivity of the pastoralist, and you know, if you have ever worked in the pastoral market, the challenge is that, like now in Kenya, right now, there's enough forage. They went the other day, the glass is reaching me this level. Natural glass, yeah? There's enough forage. So that forage, again, we have a dry spell, the animal feed on the forage, then the animals start emaciating, and then they gain weight again in the next rainy season. So gaining weight, losing weight, that's the trend. So the animal stays longer in the pastoral market, so the age of sale is the long age, because that's not what the market wants. And then the animal has stayed longer in the pastoral market, rangeland, so that means its emission is higher. So if we can reduce the age of the animal, then again also on climate impact, we have supported that. But more importantly, we're going to help livelihoods with higher productivity. And that productivity you need to work out on, like now, the natural grass. So one of the things that the off-takers have been trying to do is just to help the producers harvest the natural grass as they are growing other forages. Okay. So the beauty with that is that they have production at throughout the year. So that has other important elements like livelihoods in pastoral regions improved, livestock sector contributions, and even in the formal market. Yeah? But the core one is that we get the market sorted out. That's the core of our model that we are convinced is working, and you'll hear from the off-taker. And these are the key components. So we have set the off-taker on these and requested them, look, all these are things you should sort out as part of your business. So the difference that we're doing compared to most of the projects, a lot of resources have been invested in pastoral regions as projects. And when you interview the communities, they say, yes, our livelihoods improved during the project. But once the project comes to an end, it's time to sell the spare parts of the vehicles of the project and the motorbikes, and then now they go back to the default setting of poverty again, you know. So what we are requesting the off-taker is that you have some grant resources to support your business, to de-risk your business for the risk you have taken high, but none of these staff should lose their jobs after the project. So that now you make this as part of your business, and then we stop from being as projects every other year. Now we move to being more of building businesses. And we are convinced that once you build businesses and the businesses see value in what they are doing, then perhaps that's the way we shall be able to transform our pastoral market, and livestock become a good business that our pastoralists are proud of it.